The market in the last 6 years has done things I've never experienced. I
Right.
got a phone call from a gentleman. He's retired. He's moving back so he can spend time with his grandkids. He told me the cheapest homeowner's price he got was 8,500 bucks for homeowners.
Wow.
But when I went to the markets that I had access to, I got it as low as 5,500. But even then, 5,500 is still a staggering number for somebody to pay for homeowners insurance.
So
It's
it's
pretty
really just a
insane.
consideration of adding an additional amount of money, more money than they would think to that yearly cost. A lot like leveraging other parts of your transaction, working with
Correct.
a
Now,
vendor who knows what they're doing and knows the questions to ask can get you a little bit further.
huge difference. Before we even issue a policy with them, I usually ask for the age of the roof and then a photo of the manufacturer's date on the boiler or the hot water heater. And the reason being is I can put that into the computer. It will tell me when it was manufactured. I know if it's within that 15-year window.
Right.
So that way, I'm not starting a policy for you. It gets flagged and canceled, and then you're in a bad place because
Right.
now, oh, the next company is $1,000 more. We
Right.
don't want to do that to people. That's
Right.
You're buying a house, you're having a huge expense. We want to try and lock in that number as low as we can, but making the right decisions.
So if you guys are interested in finding out how else you can leverage every single dime you have to get exactly what you want, you can message me or comment homeowner playbook, and I will send you guys my full video playbook that I send all of my clients to set them ahead. Long Island homeowners are finding themselves possibly having to pay for the cost of a roof just to close.
We're seeing situations now where carriers are inspecting houses that they're already insuring, and they're turning around and then flagging it and telling people, if you don't get a roof, we're canceling you and you have to go someplace
We
else.
recently had a client who ran into an issue with their roof and having to
Yes.
get homeowners insurance. The thing that I found so surprising about it is that there was nothing wrong with the roof. So we had a client, they were buyers in our case, first-time home
Yep.
buyers, so excited about a house right here on Long Island in Suffolk County. We went into contract, we had the inspection. The roof was definitely an older roof, but no repairs were cited at that time. We go
Yep.
into contract, we're getting ready for closing, and then we find out that the insurance company that we thought was going to be fine is not going to cover this roof.
The inspections have gotten very in-depth. The other factor that a lot of people are not realizing, pre-COVID, they would say between 300 and 325 a square foot to rebuild a house. So, okay, we have a ballpark. Currently, the number is 400 to 450 per square foot to rebuild a house.
Wow.
So that's now hurting more home buyers like our client because now the value of their house is now up $100,000 more than they were expecting. It might actually supersede what they're paying for their house. And the problem you run into that is you're money poor. I've been told by the mortgage broker if the premium on a homeowner policy is not below this, they're not going to close because they don't meet the financials. And that's a tough situation for a person buying their first time house saying, yeah, this is going to be a problem.
Right. These big expenses right before closing can change the value of home. What is the biggest one that you're seeing? The biggest challenge that you're seeing?
Roof hands down. Now, each company is also different in regards to their coverage of it. We're pretty adamant about the customer that you refer over that we were able to help. On that first initial phone call, the first thing I talked to her about was, did you get the home inspected? Yes, I want to see the inspection.
Yeah.
Why? Because I want to see inside of the house what I'm gonna possibly have a problem with or not have a problem with.
Hmm.
And then also then helps me build what the house is actually going to cost to rebuild it. So definitely gives me a little bit more of an advantage. So that way, one, we don't overinsure the house when we start
Right.
the policy, but two, mitigates me seeing something like, oh, that could be a problem. You should
Right.
definitely talk to her about with your real estate agent or the home inspector, like, we should address this.
Right. Because of, again, if it's something that becomes an immediate issue, for me, the roof is such a big deal because this is something that goes into how much we're paying for the house. So
Yeah.
to have an inspector say the roof doesn't need repair and then have an insurance company say the roof needs to be replaced if you would like
Yeah.
coverage. And in this specific client's case, we were running into this over and over and over again because again, on Long Island, our homes tend to be much older than homes on general or the national average. So we're running into roofs that are more than 20 years old. What have
Terrible.
you guys experienced out there with your insurance companies? Anything surprising? Drop a comment and let us know so you can hire a roofing company and they can kind of give you an estimate of how, in their opinion, how much longer you have on your roof.
Correct, yeah. Because that's a good selling point for me of, hey, I had the roof inspected by my installation. It was done 15 years ago. Here's a letter. They think there's another 10 years left on. You could
Yeah.
hire a roofer. They can come out. They can give on their letterhead saying like, yeah, we reviewed the roof. It's got at least another 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
Most insurance companies will accept that as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a really good insight.
That as the owner and say, I'm going to get this done preemptive.
Hmm.
I'm going to have a letter written up by a roofing company. I just an extra selling feature for me. Hey, I got it inspected. Here's the letter from the roofer. It should help with your insurance. And one of the other things is, I know obviously living on Long Island, flood insurance, right? Flood insurance is a big thing down here in Long Island,
Hmm.
especially as you get to the coast. If you are buying a house in a flood zone, the first thing you need to do is one, find out if the current owner has a mortgage. Now, the reason I say that is if they do, they're required to have flood.
Right.
If they're required to have flood, if the policy is through a program, which is the NFIP, the National Flood Insurance Program, that policy can be transferred from the previous owner to the new owner. Me, I'm buying that house in Patchogue on the water.
Hmm.
It can be transferred to me. The advantage that has is if that policy was written pre-Sandy or even before that, it's grandfathered. So it's actually a better price than if I went to go get a policy today. So for flood insurance, that's a big thing. And part of the
Checking to
conversation,
see, are all homeowners in, are all flood insurance policies transferable, or would a homeowner have to check to see if theirs
the
was?
homeowner would have to check because if it's done through the FEMA program, the NFIP,
Hmm.
those are transferable. Some of the other programs on the admitted side,
Hmm.
those I don't believe are transferable, but each
Okay.
company can be different on their
Gotcha.
requirements and guidelines.
But it could be a huge advantage and a huge selling
Huge
point.
advantage. Huge
Yeah.
advantage. I had one scenario where they weren't sure if the person had flood. We quoted the homeowner's insurance for flood. It was $3,900 just for flood insurance for the minimum from FEMA. The other person already had a flood. It was 2,200 bucks. A lot of this all boils back to is one, working with professionals, yourself included. I'm going to work with Melissa. Why? Because she knows these are the things and these are the boxes I have to check off to
Right.
make sure this goes smoothly, either selling my house or buying my first house.
Right.
Same thing with an insurance guy.
Yep.
You want to be working with somebody who knows the industry, who's been in it and working for a period of time, because they're going to be able to say, hey, listen, these are the carriers. These are the things you have to pay attention to.
Right. And it sounds like it makes a difference at the closing table, whether you're a buyer or a seller. As
Yeah.
knowing people who ask these questions are saving thousands, like you said, $4,000 versus 8,900. That's a
Yeah.
$5,000 a year. So if you guys are interested in finding out how else you can leverage every single dime you have to get exactly what you want, you can message me or comment homeowner playbook, and I will send you guys my full video playbook that I send all of my clients to set them ahead. Why are these insurance companies abandoning Long Island homes? Is it being close to the coast? Is it older, big ticket items?
So age of roof is a big one. The newer the roof, the less likelihood it's going to have damage. Coastal, as you said, getting closer to the water, that's a huge factor as well. Not the national brands. They're willing to write and take chances on getting closer to the water because they realize they can charge a premium. But unfortunately for us, like budgeting in Long Island is so expensive as a homeowner.
Yeah.
My taxes are $12,000 a year.
Yeah.
My homeowner's insurance is another $4,000 a year. And then all the additional expenses of just living on the island, it's financially tough for younger couples to buy houses. That young couple
Affordability is
needed
the
help.
lowest that it has been in years. It is like down into like 50 something percent of people can afford to be here. It's really, so every dollar has to really stretch as far as possible.
How many people come in and make an offer and they get outbid on something and then it's a
Well, and
bidding?
that's the thing. Like, we were in this position, especially with our client, where they were really excited to finally have secured a property. And then
Yeah.
this news,
A lot of the times when they're telling me they're selling, it's like, okay, well, if you're going to start looking, these are some of the things you should pay attention to. And
yeah.
where are you looking? Are you looking to move? We have some gentleman who's moving from New Hyde Park and he's moving out to East Northport into a 55 or older community.
Yeah.
Great. You don't own the building. that's nice and easy. We can do that very quickly. It doesn't matter how old the roof is. That's on them kind of situation. So each scenario is different, but that's part of the reason working with a broker makes it a lot easier because you're going to get the knowledge and the experience they've had over the years.
Right. And again,
Insurance
for
is
the first
changing.
time, like we're trying to leverage the best possible value for these companies where they used to be, like you said, $600 for the year. You don't even feel
Yeah,
that. Now we're
yeah.
talking about $4,500 for the year. What does this policy include? What am I protected in? And where is this going to cost me extra? And I think that's the biggest piece is not, because again, prices fluctuate, it's the surprise element and really like having the plan. So if you
Um,
guys are interested in finding out how else you can leverage every single dime you have to get exactly what you want, you can message me or comment homeowner playbook and I will send you guys my full video playbook that I send all of my clients to set them ahead.
Insurance has always been repair, replace. So we're going to charge you more money because we know the claim's going to happen, but we're going to repair it and we're going to replace it to get you whole. They're now taking the stance of we're going to predict and prevent. So now they're looking at services like, hey, get a Moen automatic shutoff. And what that is it goes onto your water main into your house. You put sensors all over your house. And if the water main notices that something is leaking, it will shut the water off to the house.
Yeah,
That claim could have been solved if they had one of those devices just to shut off the water.
right.
So there are certain things that companies are getting smarter, but in doing that, they're now going to start rebating. So you're going to see
Okay.
a 10% discount, a 15% discount, because they realize if you're going to spend that money to protect yourself, we're going to give some of it back, which
Right.
helps.
Yeah.
But each thing has to be weighed.
Yeah.
When I started 21 years ago, an alarm discount, you'd be like, wow, I'm going to save $200 a year. That's a great amount of money. Now it's 50 bucks. Doesn't make any
Right.
sense. When you're
Right.
going to spend way more than that to pay for an alarm system, it's
Right.
more about peace of mind for me. I don't want to make sure somebody doesn't break into my house while I'm not
Right.
home.
So what do you think of those like little things that the insurance preventative things that the insurance company might ask for? Like what are the things that you see that
Mhm.
make sense?
Um,
The
the,
obviously the water sensor.
the water sensors, there's another product called Ting. You actually plug it into an outlet in your house and it will signal through all of your wiring to test it. And if it finds a short, they'll actually pay up to a certain amount to fix it for you, which is nice. And then it will also advise them that there's a possibility of a fire might happen. So you're actually able to get in front of it, fix it before that fire actually ever happens.
That's cool.
And the device isn't expensive. I think it's $100 for the device itself, which covers 1 year of service, and it's $50 for the year.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
have the device.
Yeah.
I don't get a discount for it.
Right.
But $50 a year, that's pennies. I spend more on that on coffee in two
Right.
weeks.
What have you guys experienced out there with your insurance companies? Anything surprising? Drop a comment and let us know.
What a contractor can charge for his labor itself is astronomical. And that's never going to decrease. So
Why do you think that the insurance companies are getting more and more expensive? Do you think it has to do everything with profit? Do you think like it's getting harder to predict? Do you think just like expenses are going up in general for like in terms of like lumber and cost to rebuild things?
the real big increase that's never going to come back is labor. All of the things that go into your policy are expensive and they
Yeah.
just keep increasing. Now, one of the things that people don't realize is liability. Liability is gigantic. So if Hawaii gets burned to the ground or California gets burned to the ground, those companies now have to raise rates across the country to compensate for the money they lost.
Got it.
So the weather also takes a factor. We are getting weirder and weirder weather on a regular basis. It's not going to slow down. The
Yeah.
weird weather we have just seems to be getting worse. There are very smart people who work in the industry. They're actuaries. They
Yeah.
look at everything as a whole. They determine, okay, this is how we have to kind of price ourselves. Now, you're right. Insurance is expensive and they have to kind of mitigate that. So we're going to take a rate. We're going to see how the market does. And if we've taken too much, we're going to compensate. Unfortunately, for the last 6 years, they've just kept taking rate. There's never been a decrease. There's never been, we're going to hold the line. It's
Right.
because things just keep blowing past that they're trying to now keep up with.
What have you
Yeah.
guys experienced out there with your insurance companies? Anything surprising? Drop a comment and let us know. Matt, I want to talk to you a little bit about how Long Island homeowners can get practical. How can they really, in the next few months, do their due diligence and make sure that they're making a decision and they're understanding those numbers?
I'm not just trying to sell you a policy, I'm trying to advise you on what you're buying. I can sell you something cheap just so that way you can close. But if something does ever go wrong, that's when you're going to want to lean back on a policy. And if it's not there to back you up, that's the even bigger concern. So sometimes
Well,
the
that's the
best
thing. Even if it's half the price, if it doesn't do its job, then it's a
there
bigger
was no
waste of
point of
money.
paying. The advisor's going to be able to then coach you in regards to these are the premium numbers. But if you want to spend a little bit more, you're going to get a better product long
In
run.
this market, it's kind of like the coverage is going to be expensive no matter who it is because of how these carriers are behaving now. So,
Yes,
like, if we're
100%.
trying to make our money go as far as we can make it go, let's align with someone who knows how to do that.
There's multiple options, like we discussed earlier, bundling insurance. So either with the broker or the same company, based if they have that option. Some of these other devices, these preventative devices, the Ting, the Moen water shut off, those devices, your alarm system still gives you a discount. Might not be great, but it is still a discount.
Right.
And then the deductible stuff.
Matt, if anyone has any questions for you, where can they find you?
So you can reach out to us. The website is thelavelleagency.com. You can find me on Instagram. You can send me an email at matt@thelavelleagency.com.
If you have any other questions about how you can stay ahead of these changes and all of the changes in the Long Island market, you can DM or message me, homeowner, and I will send you my homeowner video playbooks.